Hi, Zaharis Super Strings 5th grade cello players. This is your video. We're going to call it for week 3. Week 2's video was the escalator on the D string. I want you to start with that video first every day in your practice. As you get good at calling out those notes, checking your good bow holds, and making sure that you know all your notes in your escalator call out on the D string, I want you to go back after you're good and you feel confident to be able to do that really easily. Go back and watch week 1, because week 1 will go, it was my 6th grade video, and it will go on the D and the A string both. Your assignment this week is to turn in a video of you practicing on your D string escalator. And when you do that, I've noticed some interesting bow holds in here. So double check that you have a great bow hold. Thumb bend, middle extend, fingers drop, flop till you drop. Double check that you're doing that salt shaker. So you can lift up all your fingers except for your pointer finger and your thumb and lean into the stick so the stick is pressing down on the hair in the center. And you're lifting up these fingers and you're just going to rest them down. And then as you play, you keep that position. We don't do this kind of bow hold. You can hear a difference in our tone that way. Okay, so we want to be aware of that bow hold for sure. The other thing I was showing is, where is your balance point? See if you can find it. Don't let your bow drop. But there's a point closer to the frog than the tip where your bow will balance. Looks like we found it right about there. When you find it, of course, never touch your bow hair with your hands, but you can mark that point with a little tape or sticker. And then about an inch or so higher than that is a good spot for you to start your bows. You're always wanting to start down bow. Remember, down bow is when you open up your elbow. Up bow is when you close it. We're going to be using little pepperoni pizza bowings. So we're not using more than like an inch of bow right now. This is for your escalator call out. So go ahead and review week 2's video and you'll be able to practice that escalator every day. When you feel comfortable, then make a recording of yourself checking your bow hold with it. Make sure you're calling out the notes. So you're saying D play, E play, F play, F sharp play, G play. Then you're going to repeat that and go back down. Okay. Last week I also did in this book, which I've sent to you on Canvas. This is a book I've made, and the first page is using only D string notes. And last week's video went over song number 1, and then we did also that in our class this week. We talked a lot about what the notes were, what the patterns were, what the rhythm and the bow speeds were. We talked about how to write music, time signatures, clef signs, those fun things. And I've noticed we have some really smart 5th grade students here that can read notes really well, which is fabulous. So I want you to go work at your own pace. We're going to look at song number 2 in that book today. Feel free to print it out if you don't want to always read it right off your computer, but if you want to read it off your computer, you can too. Also, make sure you have this book. If you don't have it yet, that's okay, but try to be in the process of getting it. So when we do go back in person at school, then we can have it together. We will not be able to share music, so if you don't have your own books when you come back, then you just won't have any. So I know it's kind of sad. That's our coronavirus policy for the year. So page 8 in this book is a good page to start looking at. It's very similar to the book that I made on page 1 in using D string notes. It does have a few open A's. It uses quarter notes and half notes, just like the book I made does, but it also has some whole notes. So we're going to look at that briefly, but let's start with the Zaharis Super String book first. Page 1, Song number 2, I've numbered every measure. So if you're not good at finding your measures, I can just say, okay, let's jump to measure 6, and you can easily find it. And then just go ahead and take a quick scan before we play through song number 2. Notice what notes you see as far as letters. Do you see a D? Do you see an E? Do you see an F sharp? Do you see a G? Do you see an A? So find how many different notes do you see? How many different rhythms do you see? Quarter notes, half notes, whole notes. Excuse me. So find what you can find with that. And then a good practice strategy is before you just play it, sing it, clap it, maybe air bow it or just finger it. So I'm going to play, but I recommend that you do one of those. You can do pizzicato work. You can bow it and finger it in the air. You can just air bow it, and if you want to air bow on your lap, so your bow isn't as heavy, that's perfectly fine. You can sing. Singing is a fantastic tool to help it be easier to play. It will help you memorize if you sing often. If you sing your song that you're going to play 3 to 5 times before you play it, I guarantee you will play it way better, and you'll be able to think about your posture and getting a better sound better. Okay? So even though I'm playing, you can sing. You can pluck. Pick one of those options. I would probably not play with me the first time. And maybe by time number 10 of watching this, then you can try. Okay? Here we go. Number 2. 1, 2, ready, sing now. Slow bow, half note. F sharp. Song number 2. So like I said, go through the steps, singing it a lot, air bowing it a lot, clapping, fingering, and then when you feel confident, you can put it all together. Some of you, we have different levels in this class. If that's super easy, go ahead and try number 3 or number 4 on this page. And if you want to share one of those in your escalator video, I'd love to hear it. If you have the green book and you look at page 8, I'm going to briefly look at Etude. Etude only uses 2 notes, open D and first finger on D, E. So I want you to look at patterns. Does it repeat 4 notes? Does it repeat 2 notes? Does it go up and down or down then up? If you notice those patterns before you play it, it will help you play it a whole lot easier. This one also has mostly all quarter notes. By the way, it's page 8, number 28. It's called Etude. So if you don't have it yet, that's fine. You can just stop the video and just do what we've done and be done. But if you do have it, you can take a look. So notice those patterns, notice what you see. And then the bows, if they're quarter notes, they're all fast 45-mile-an-hour bows. Sometimes they're 20-mile-an-hour bows. It's just the last note that's a half note. So, all right. So we are going to do Etude, and like I said, you're not going to play, you're going to sing or air bow, clap, just finger along. 1, 2, ready, play. Exercise. I think measure 7 is the tricky one because it kind of changes the pattern right there. But you tell me what you think is the tricky one when we have class. It's good exercise in following notes and reading and tracking. Since there's only 2 notes, it's not as challenging. But still, there's a lot to think about on your instrument. You have your posture, you have your left hand, making sure you have your drink of water here, your fingers are curved. on their tabletops, pressing the string all the way down to the fingerboard, reading the notes, having the bow hold. So you're doing a lot. So give yourself some good credit and let me know how far you get, what's challenging. I'd like to make our practice go a little smoother each week. We'll get in better practice routine and things will get even more fun as we keep going. So have a great week. I'll see you in class. Bye.